Sorry to be on so much later than scheduled and didn't get a chance to throw up a schedule today. I was traveling this weekend and actually don't know if anybody else got a chance to be there, but went to go see My Chemical Romance up in Detroit at the Comerica Park. And amazing show, absolutely amazing show. If you've never seen them live, you really should. If you have seen them live, then you know already. And so, yeah, just a bit late coming back and running out the door there to get here and all that kind of stuff. So, do apologize for that. But going to get back into building out the Oracle and getting that working again. And then also working on Flywheel and did some new levels there. So at this point, it is just a matter of getting that more refined. And so I had, oddly enough, had Claude working on it while over the weekend. It was the only instance of using Claude all weekend was to just double check something that I'd put together to see what it looked like. 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 2 days ago, last week. Okay, let's see where that landed because he should have. Oh, you know what? Just probably didn't make the PR. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else knows. Oh, I really don't care. There we go. Nice, just like automatically putting them into projects. Okay, downward column. Yeah, so it was 2 things. It was wanting to update the maps and just get those. Let's just do. Yeah, go ahead and create the PR for that. Wanting to update the maps and just refine them. And then another aspect was the validation tool taking like forever, and that having to do with the Cambridge map. And you can see that the Cambridge map is actually smaller than Tokyo and Boston, but it's actually way more complicated in the way that it's built. So trying to figure out how to rework that map and other maps so that they are still as like detailed as I'd like them to be without having them be jacked up in terms of performance. So let's just go ahead and check in since Claude is definitely reset at this point. I go codex on the Oracle just to check something. Yay! Okay, usage limit reset. Yeah, never ceases to amaze me on that. Okay. My more important endeavor is the Oracle over the others. Observability, forecast, testing competing hypotheses. And then just supposed to be research answers. And like the number one test is so maybe it's the way it's asking it wrong in terms of should ask what are some new features and products or services. We just want to see if it can peer into the future for us, considering it's really just testing the fact that these are the top prediction models essentially for any sort of collected data. So it just makes sense that test them with predictions and see what they come out with. last time we did this, we did it on the Value First AI Daily. Yeah, and see, it's still just doing like research based essentially. Formal platform for building, deploying, and coordinating specialized agents, which is already there. A lot of this stuff is already there. So trying to get it to go beyond that, it's already a pretty massive expansion of AEO. Yeah, I mean, all of that is capable. The other aspect of it is really smart deal progression evolving into revenue intelligence. I mean, don't really see that as being anything you actually couldn't put into place now. A lot of this stuff. So yeah, what I was gonna say is that like realistically, yeah, like these are the things. It's more like connectors at this point. What kind of connections you're going to allow, what kind of MCPs you're going to allow. The whole aspect of features, I don't know, even when I step back and think about it, is really just kind of like, yeah, okay, well, that makes sense because it exists, in other places. So it makes sense to fold it into a full-fledged platform you already have, especially when you're already talking about you have, marketing baked into it, reporting baked into it, revenue baked into it, quoting baked into it, sales, all of that stuff. Um, it makes full sense to just continue hammering out features for those particular verticals within the software platform. Specific agent templates. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's already happening too. Be cautious about predicting. Yeah, well, it's funny because Dharmesh did say he's working on something in the background that is an agent first CRM. So I don't know. I doubt there's going to be an announcement about it, but I don't know. That's not really. Is it as far forward as I would expect it to be? Not really. Um, yeah, this is still not quite working right, but we need to give it like, I don't know, the difference between this and like just like a GPT version of this. It's it's massive only because of the fact that this can get backed by a lot of information and can search through a lot of information. But then again, I haven't really put in enough time to go too crazy with it. So let's actually peel over to AGY. And before, okay, so I don't forget that later. Okay. We should already have one in there. Yep. See what's going on there, and then yeah, of course, garbage truck. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's that hour for the trucks to be going by, and we have construction going on our street as well. So there go the dogs. It's like a perfect little run around on the timing. Okay, let me get this pull request. So I can start taking a look at what's going on there. Supposedly. Let me see if I can get a local before I actually pull this down. There we go. only because once I do this poll, there'd be like a massive difference between the two maps, which I do want to see, but close these off for now. Also need to create the new tracks. So I've got Cairo, Giza. Which ones do I have downloaded? Hold on. Yep, that's running. Or did I even? Let me see. Last week? No, not yet. Okay, good. And how far did I get? You know, the only thing I don't really. Oh no, I do. Yeah, you can see them all. Okay. Cairo, Giza. Dubai. So we still need Athens. Auckland was strange. Still need Athens and Rome. I wonder what that's going to come back with. It's going to be amazing. Paris, London. So I mean, I want to do separate tracks for every city, so that it's like a cool playlist too. So we'll get to those. Let's see what. Did it get redone? Yes, it did actually. Okay. So let's pull everybody over. Oh man, I swear. If I end up having issues again. Shouldn't be. Okay. Yeah, last time I checked my connection, it was like, oh, okay. In terms of like connection speed, it was. I checked it no, not last time, but maybe I don't know, two before, and was no big deal, and had no issues whatsoever. Um, Went online or came on stream or whatever and just locked up, and I went and checked the speed test, and it's like it was like 65 or 70 down or something like that. It was still like 30 or 25 or 30 up, but the down speed was so ridiculous, and pay for a 1 gig line, so shouldn't get anywhere near that low. And of course, like a couple hours later, check it again, and it's back to like normal speed, and haven't really had an issue with it since. So, oh wells. Okay, cool. We got a good merge. So this is all the new stuff, which is, I mean, I don't think that's funny. One profile is behind the other. Okay, let's see if it actually. It's still supposed to go all the way across on that, so you're not just like jacked into it. Way better, way more accurate than it was before. I do need to, I need to make some sort of a skip to go past all these. I suppose playing them's not too terrible. Okay. Yeah, I tried to work on those streets, but it really didn't get too far. Okay. Let me see what goes on here. We're at this far. Man, I have made this budget decision, I don't know how many times. Daily through where I'm spending. I know. Okay, so on part 2, S3, I'm not entirely sure why this hasn't been remediated yet, but if you could please change the limit from $2 a day to $5 a day. I could have sworn we had already updated that ceiling, but maybe we just notated it and never actually updated it. So make that the first thing to do, and then let's start working on the eval harness, please. Yep. Okay, so there's still quite a bit to do, which makes sense. I didn't think we were that far along with it. Okay, what's the track here? Yeah, it's like a happy-go-lucky track. One thing I noticed, and I mean, I have been playing this on mobile. What I noticed there is that it's like a little bit too quite jacked up, and especially when the natural disaster takes place, it's still like I don't know if it's as jacked up for other people as what I have tested, but um, definitely going to be working on changing things to be like I don't know, maybe not individual locks everywhere. That might be just in some places. Like if it's doing that on like on my desktop, yeah. So you see how it has like teeny tiny, like it's trying to do like really serious details, right? Which is cool, but at the same time, like those teeny tiny bricks actually cause like a massive issue. Yeah, and then the biggest issue was with the tornado. Twofold. I need to change the graphics so that it looks more interesting than what it looks like now. And okay, so it did change the physics a bit. Well, not that much. At least it didn't, well, because it also didn't hit that many buildings. You change the sound effects. I need the sounds to be all consistent. There's still like, you know, quite a bit of work that has to get done here. Seems like it would seem like it's so super easy because it's such a simple game, but there's just a lot of nuance. So what I was thinking was just essentially highlighting them instead of having them be like having the arrows on them, because I know the arrows don't necessarily look cheap, but it's not. It looks weird. Also trying to keep like a good design consistency. Still kind of trying to work that out. Because it doesn't really have like a feel to it yet. It doesn't have like a particular artistic feel to it at all. It just kind of it's just kind of a game. It just exists almost. You can tell how amazingly thrilled I am at it. I got redone very well. Sweet. Created like a separate floor. Maybe. And then overall size is supposed to be based on like how much you're consuming on the level. So that like in theory, like I don't know, I'm trying to make it like fun without and like semi-challenging without being too challenging for anybody. So the whole thing is just supposed to be that like, you know, you can get like all things on any level basically. Just that some would be easier than others. Yeah, see, so this needs to change. And essentially what the change would be is that like this just becomes solid pieces instead of becoming individual blocks. And let's see. Yeah, same thing. Like the pillars can all just be like singular pieces. They don't have to be blocks. The thing I need to change about the tornado is that it always takes the same path. So every time it shows up, it always just goes west to east. It is pretty cool, but it's not, you know, it's not crazy. Still have physics issues there that need to get fixed. And again, I think a lot of it has to just do with like it being so many tiny blocks, which was a very cool thing initially. Such a great idea. Oh my gosh, it actually knocked something off the building. Okay. Yeah, see, so like what happens is with the voxels, like the physics gets really weird in that like it doesn't, it's all coming down and it doesn't know how to deal with it. So it just like pushes blocks back up, which is not the way to handle it, obviously. And it clearly doesn't look, you know, natural as a solution. Just a whole building there. That's what's strange. Is like when you destabilize the entire thing, it's fine. It doesn't, and I guess that's just because it's like full gravitational pull or something. So I wonder, I guess if I slam. What if we just slam that up? Doesn't it look weird then? I guess that was the only reason that I kind of slowed it down, was so that you could see it like hitting the ground and stuff. But if this solves the performance issue, then I guess I kind of have to do that. I don't know. I'll change it this week and see what testers think about it. It doesn't look like, I don't know. It's not, it doesn't look that bad. It looks a little weird, but again, if it solves the performance problem, then I don't really care, because that's the biggest part of it to me. Is just like I don't want people to complain that like, yeah, I tried to play it, but it started locking up and stuff like that. Like, okay, that's not fun. It's obviously not going to be a fun experience for anyone. Yeah, keep cooking. Okay. Let's see. Hey, take a look at the status file, and I think we just redid all of the maps that got finished over the weekend, and refined a bunch of them. You'll have to check the latest commit, which I need to pull before I do anything else. Bing. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know that we're working on additional maps, but I just need you to get up to date on where we are. Opus 5x high. Let's change that. Actually, each one has its own little quirk. So, like, you can copy characters here, and then you can erase all, but you can't do that on Codex, and I think you can on anti-gravity, but maybe not. Okay, so we're reset for the week, so we'll do Fable and effort low just to review. It's just the last couple. Okay, this. So that's one entirely. So yeah, it's like three times like normal rate rates. It's gonna be all rated 80, right? Of course, you can't flip that. Okay, cool. Bring that down, and then attraction pull is like how much it's gonna suck into the hole, and then creak delay is like, creak delay would be like you could technically knock out the entire bottom floor of a building, and then the rest of it would fall like, you know, a bit later. Might do that on like one level as just like a joke thing. Yeah, what it looks like when you back that up. Oh, yep. Definitely looks like you collecting from forever away. So it's kind of like, let's, I mean, if it increases see, and it's still not doing the camera move that I want it to do. So like, let's see, tries to do it there. See what's weird is that like, see how the circle just how the circle just distorts for some reason. I really don't know why. It has something to do with oh, this should be cool. Oh wait, is it? Okay. Wanna actually, go through the city. Yes, okay. It should knock down a bunch of stuff. It's supposed to. Good. And these buildings? Good. Okay, cool. All right, so see, even like during something like that, gravity's already like high. And they're falling through the floor too. Yep, same thing here. Something's wrong with it. Might just be that effect makes it do that. Probably makes it do that to try to speed things up. I mean, could always have negative effects, right? Yeah, so if you get hit by the tornado, it just teleports you to the other side of the map. Well, not necessarily to the other side of the map, just teleports you. Yeah, need to reduce the frequency of those. We haven't even done anything really. Like, anytime you get those, like after the first prompt, like really. Okay, Act 3, yep, landmarks rebuild. Yep, yep. Okay. Cool. Nope, should look clean. Okay, two fixes riding along. And lab tutorial tear down crash. Okay, on the two fixes, did we create the paperwork for those, or are we just noting them on the side within status? I think we just noted. I don't think I actually wrote this up yet. Let me check what's actually on disk. Oops. Okay. Oh, what else was I messing around with? Oh yeah, need to get you doing the daily build. Yeah. Hold on. Hmm. If possible, that should come out amazing. We did awesome. Okay. Phantom sign identity. Yep. Plus fix commit. Lab tutorial teardown. Docs also touched. Guard assertions went into. Okay. Index regression yard is okay. Good. Okay, and have we broken down the validation yet? The validator, or was that also just paperwork? This whole timing to me. And it doesn't like tear. Yeah, it doesn't tear through everything. That's why I'm tabbed out. Hold on a second. Hey, just add this to the grocery list of things we need to fix. The timing on power ups, need to increase that to be like somewhere in the ballpark of like 50, like 45 seconds, or like maybe 55 seconds, something like that. I think right now it's like 30 seconds post capture or post despawn, and it's basically they're just popping in way too fast. Especially once you get to a certain size, right? Like once the circle gets to be, anywhere near 20, then you're almost like hitting them by accident. You don't even mean to run into them, you just do. Try to fix that. Like I'd like to, I mean the maps do scale, but I'd like to really like push the scale on some of them. Where's the builds, paperwork? Okay. The validator change, but okay. Okay. Yeah, we need to break this up badly. In practice, but not in reality. Yeah, last time I checked, it's like 4.5 hours or something to do like the complete validation cycle, which is ridiculous. And it has to do with like the voxel counts. I have to just have to redo them. Is it actually updated? Because last time you said it wasn't, or was, but isn't. Don't need Terra High for. Well, yeah, we don't need Terra High for this. Do me a favor, check the daily budget count for Swarm Research. Make sure that it's set to $5. That's just a skill warning. One decision, cool. Raise your power up, awesome. Okay, so need to start looking into the refinement of these maps, and I don't know, potentially even like essentially lowering the voxel count while maintaining the level of detail. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like, just let's start there. Because sometimes I shouldn't say sometimes, lately, even with like a pretty decent level of control on Ares, the underlying model is just really trying to drive a nail through the board for some reason. So you give it a suggestion and it just goes like to the nth degree with it. Okay, so has been okay. It's built okay. Is there to be written? Okay. Documentation synchronized. Okay. Good deal. Awesome. Do me a favor. Yeah. Do me a favor and just check the chat aspect of the application. So I guess what we're really looking at is the system prompt, because the purpose of the chat is to be the equivalent of talking to Nostradamus. So need to understand and ensure that that is the functionality that we have currently happening based on what's in the code base. And then, yeah, I know it's already named in the doctrine. Yeah. But then it came out to be, and it's not, again, like there's maps that are larger than that don't perform as poorly as Cambridge does. It's crazy to me. Perceived density comes from a handful of things, hollow shells instead of solid fills. Yeah, I mean, like it tried to build in full floors and stuff. Detail where the camera lives, color palette variation, decor reacts instead of blocks. Not really. Yeah, so like in all four cases, it's just a little strange to me because none of them mention using different shapes or like larger shapes to replace using a ton of small blocks. Like why is that not among the potential solutions? Redeciding what number means, like helps the memory, but the same per cell frame budget. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. How much falls at once? So like currently what I'm seeing is buildings that have what look like pillars, but instead of it being one solid piece, it's actually several blocks put together. The perfect example of this is in the lab. The lab actually has an entire section that is sort of like repurposed, or I don't know how to best explain it, but essentially it's like low poly while still maintaining the level of detail that we're looking for. Low poly meaning low polygon count. The lower the amount of polygons you have to render, the faster processing happens. Might have to. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure we built this on Godot, but I might need to check and just maybe do a version two. Uh, let's see. Current tech chat is grounded in technology analyst. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, so yeah, we don't need the causal graph though. Okay. Yeah, so essentially what we need is the chat to be able to interact with the data from the causal graph in order to answer the user's question. The difference between the two is simply that, chat answers the question, whereas causal graph gives you a lot more detail behind that, right? Um, we find the chat version of this just to be easier in terms of the interface as opposed to having to wait for an entirety of a process to happen. So I don't even need the processing animations and stuff like that happening on the chat side. That's almost an understood thing that's happening. So much as the interaction and the expected outcome from the model. So if you don't mind putting together a plan so that we can realign to the expectation. Do that. Okay. Yep. You would think. I know it does. So, okay, we don't have to change it, which is all right. Okay. I don't think it's quite that nuanced, friend. Yeah, that's the whole thing. But, yeah, look, I think we just need to hit a, nice middle ground, and maybe we use the latter third of the lab. Let's go ahead and redo that. Let's work locally for right now. Redo the latter third of the map on the lab, and or even add one, add one more to it, make it quarters. I don't care. And in the last section, let's shoot for this half and half where you do have bricks, right? Like bricks on the outside or whatever you want. Modern buildings, man, they have just beams, right? Steel beams with full floors. So it's really actually not that uncommon to have it be just beams and floors. That's far more akin to the way that buildings are put together today, as opposed to everything having to be singular blocks like bricks or what have you. Even though we could have those to represent older buildings. So, like in the case of historical monuments where blocks and cubes are necessary, obviously do that and various sizes and all that. That's totally fine. Um, Otherwise, if especially if it's more modern or what have you, then it should clearly look more modern, which means that it wouldn't be made up of blocks. It would be made up of separate, larger pieces essentially where it can be. So just let's follow that rationale and let's just create a new section to the lab, test it out locally, and we can just go back and forth on it until we get what we need. Let's start out with several skyscrapers and then a section of in between. Put like a monument, skyscraper, couple houses, cars, street, all that kind of stuff, lampposts, everything. So we'll see how things look on a small scale and then how things look on a larger scale. Achieve casual growth. Causal context first. Okay. Okay. Yep. Place chat system as a prompt. And bounded conversational context. Current transcript is visual only. The model receives no prior turns. Simplify the chat. Let me, you know what? Just kind of realized that I think all desktop sound should be on. So this should work. Play some Flywheel. Yep, still working. Conversation contacts and flight chat UI. I mean, not that that necessarily has to happen, but that's fine. One thing for sure is memory for chat. So we're going to need to add a chat history so that we can store chat conversations. And we need to allow the model to also leverage and see those chat conversations to pull them into the mix along with the causal data that we have. So this is supposed to be the Cairo Giza track. Hold on, keep going through because I need to unlock all the maps anyway. Let's see, did it change the reaction for Train Frenzy? No, that was an asshole. Yeesh. Okay. That's crazy. Oh, it's because this is playing too. Man, it sounds like there's like 3 different types of music. Yeah, so what sucks is that they're still moving. Like, so that's why this is going slow, is because there's still some movement and animation going on there. Hey, one of the other things I'm running into, and it's probably going to happen on the lab anyway, so I don't think it's really level specific, is that when voxels hit the ground, or just when geometry hits the ground, there's something that's not happening properly, like collision wise, because the geometry starts clipping into each other essentially. And what winds up happening is the geometry doesn't settle. Because it doesn't settle, it jiggles. Because of the jiggle, it processes. Because of the processes, or because of that, it weighs down the processor or whatever the system is that's trying to run it. So, and I only know this because as soon as I eat up whatever blocks are jiggling, all of a sudden everything goes back to being completely smooth. So, not entirely sure what would cause that, but can you investigate the root cause on it? Have a special like root cause finder for this type of stuff. The Cairo track's pretty badass. Yep, that's like this whole line right here. So it's pretty much, I don't know if it's from the Quake exactly. Okay, so at least yeah, I have to change the see, the bump. So at least like it doesn't actually fall until the green is actually completely enveloping the building. Or that section or what have you. So it got rid of the pre-fall. Let's see. So I'm gonna hit 25. There we go. Okay. As soon as you get rid of the troublemaking shapes, then everything's fine. It's going back to normal. Now something okay, so that's happening. I need to find, yep, that's happening because the sheer, like, it's doing like a whole vertical for the hole. It's not doing like, it's not looking at it as, you know, able to chop out underneath, and that stays until there's no more support for it, even though it should. Really? Once it gets to 25, it's ridiculous. 1/4 of the entire map. Oh my God. So it's created some different shapes, but it just won't do why it doesn't want to go out of its way. Do me a solid. Rest of this. Okay. Cause is. Well, let's hope that it does. Okay. Yeah, that sounds exactly right. Essentially, get rid of what currently looks like 3 different modes and reduce it to the 2. Did you finish? Nope. Well, seal builder. All right. So what that is Ares has it's just a skill that I run where Ares is able to go in and do research to find out what kind of tool basically she wants to build out. Does not matter to me. And that's, you know, she's kind of told to do that. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I keep telling her to try to like outdo herself, And I mean, it is something that doesn't exist, but at the same time, it's like, how much value is that bringing to users? And I guess it's a fair amount of value for you to know like how much you're spending, especially like in this whole like, oh my gosh, unrestrained and unconstrained token burn. I guess, but I don't really see it that way. I don't know. It's all right. Not everyone's going to be amazing. That's what it is. Okay. Ask the Oracle for the conversational answers, and then the full scale verification. Ghost mode, graph update process goes away and becomes. Yep, that's better. Yes, that's exactly right. Can you please update the plan around this basis? The basis. Hey, do me a favor, take a look at the Git and ensure that we are aligned. The remote is newer than the local. So if there's a argument over who should win, it's the remote. Did some work off site. Not this weekend. Just did some work last week, and a lot of times I work on my laptop. And I just, God, I need to put a post-it right up here that says full. That or just, yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna set up a retool. No, that's fire. That would suck. Something. Session starts. Now you could do a pre-tool that like checks, and then if it checks, it marks the file, and then the next pre-tool looks at the file, we'll see if it's marked. If it's not marked, then it goes and does it. Okay. Not played Soul yet. It always starts with a singularity. Oh, man, does this suck. Wow, does this need way more work. Oh my gosh, this is horrific. And if it's now feels like it's trying to cheat by doing this. That's what is happening. It's now cheating by adding floors, which really, I mean, come on. Because I noticed this in Auckland, and then it happened I think it happened in Hong Kong as well. And it's like, you know what? You could texture that. Like, you could just do a gray texture that is that's tiled. You don't have to use like voxels to do that. You don't have to use geometry to do that. Look, nobody said they were the greatest game designers. And to be honest, and to be fair, I had run out of Kimmy very, very early last week, so haven't had a chance to throw Kimmy at any level design yet, and trying to get Claude to clean up. First, let's see what Claude can muster by comparison. Is it going to tear up the whole? Yeah, see, like, it should be tearing a path through that. Okay, kind of. Yeah, I kind of did. Yeah, okay. Kind of, but not like. Okay. And it's definitely going to get like cleaner in terms of probably not if you're thinking of like what about the background. They'll become more, I don't want to say unified either, but they'll make more sense. So like backgrounds will be, like you're obviously working with cities, so backgrounds will have like something that's like of that city or that area, basically. Some kind of imagery that suits the city itself. It's crazy is that this isn't even Even started on the track for this. I don't think. No, I think I have. Be nuts if this matches up randomly. Yep. Okay. Running. Yeah, I know. Yep, I know. And that's what I was referring to when I said 3 modes down to 2. So I don't remember what we had cooking in the source control currently, but we might as well toss it because I don't think it's related to what we are planning on working on right now. So pretty much just keep the git ignore with the planned documentation that you've been working on and scrub anything else because of the fact that we're going to move into this direction. So, again, like we're shifting gears anyway, so there's no reason to keep anything from whatever we had been planning on doing. Still running the game. Okay. All right. We'll be back later tonight. Hopefully the Oracle will be ready and going by then. Should be. I don't think it's going to take too much longer. And then Flywheel, just going to working on the maps and update the maps. Work on the polish and get that going. We've got 3 weeks, basically. That's what I consider it. We've got 3 weeks until Unbound. Oh wow, it's looking nice. Really nice. So still need to, just some details, like obviously need to make sure that the streets, the crossings look like proper crossings and all that kind of thing. Make sure things line up like they're supposed to. Graphics look the way they're supposed to. Like this, instead of being like, individual blocks, right? Like these could be slabs. Like this obviously needs to get fixed. This graphic nightmare that you're watching right now. Spacing out for no reason. There's 2 textures that are competing for each other, essentially, is what's going on. Competing for visual ownership. Or for like who's on what layer. They're both on the same layer competing to see who's gonna win. Trees should obviously not be the road. I mean, I actually do understand that because of like unification, right? But it's not done the right way. It's not presented in the right way. Sidewalks could definitely get better. A lot of stuff, But it's getting there. I'm not too upset by it. I think I'm going to. Let's see what happens with the. See what I mean, though? It always takes the same, like, east-west or west to east path. And I don't know how, it doesn't even last that long. So, I need to change how the tornado works, basically. Not bad. But again, it's trying to do like every aspect of the interior of the building. So we'll see. We'll see what changes. I'll try to get these maps updated by later tonight so that we can see what those changes are. Maybe, or see what they look like on Wednesday. Back to this. And I'm going to start doing some, not necessarily like tips and tricks stuff, but I guess you could call it that. But yeah, it's going to be some stuff like, hey, here's how you build like an entire GTM strategy with GPT in like, I don't know, an hour. And it's not, I don't know. I don't want to say anything too soon because it all kind of depends on if you're using a strategy right now, if you are, what kind of strategy you are using. But the only thing I can guarantee is that like for $20 a month, you'll get a really good head start on what you would need to pick up from other softwares. So like, is what I'm talking about a replacement for Clay? No, it's not. Is it a replace? Well, yeah, I mean, it's not a replacement for Clay, especially if you're working like it's different if you're working at that level, especially. What I will show you definitely works well for individuals, works well for like, probably would work well for consultants and anybody that is like really just looking to garner new leads, whether you're a small, medium-sized business. It's definitely a good resource or a good way of doing it. And again, it's through GPT, so you're already paying for it for the month anyway. So you might as well maximize it, learn how you can make scheduled items work to your advantage in a much more interesting way than just like scheduling, updates for news and stuff like that. Looking forward to that, and I'll put a graphic and post and all that nice stuff together for Wednesday, and we're that done. See, so that's the thing, right? That's where I was like, hey, if I just make it like a flashing block, are you going to be able to see it from the other side of the map? That's lame, because that's supposed to be an earthquake that's happening, but you can't, again, like graphics. Okay, until Wednesday, guys. Hope everybody has a good one.